Welcome back, everybody. This is United vs. Everybody. I am your host, Sean, and we are back again with another match preview. It's been a little minute because obviously we haven't played since the weekend, and we do get to go travel to Chelsea tomorrow for our penultimate match in the league this season. And quite frankly, is probably the second to last dead rubber of the season, if we're being quite honest. I know some people are not fans of that mentality. To me, it's less about it's not me giving up on the season as much as me really just trying to make sure we put ourselves in the best position to win this Europa League final, lift that trophy, beat Spurs most importantly, but have something to show for the season. It doesn't excuse anything. It doesn't let anybody off the hook, but it's nice to be where we are in the Europa League after going undefeated in the campaign. Be sure to pop back hopefully Monday afternoon for the big preview of the Europa League final. Hopefully going to have some guests with me on the stream. We're going to go through the campaign, big moments, talk tactics, starting 11s, all that stuff. So make sure you come by and get involved in that one. It's going to be fun. But as far as tomorrow's match against Chelsea, because yes, it is tomorrow, Friday night football. I don't think we care anywhere near as much about it as we do about the final, but that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk a little transfer news, a little United news, and obviously look at this match, what Chelsea have going on, what United have going on, maybe look a little bit of what Ruben Amorim had to say ahead of this one in his pre-match presser. So that's where we're going today. Probably not going to be super long, but that's all right. Don't want to keep you guys too long anyway. I'm sure you guys are all enjoying your day, but wherever you're watching from, thank you for stopping by. If you want to thank me, show your appreciation, help the channel grow, please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are on the road to 3K. We are not that far away. I think we've got like 15 more to go. We get 2.3, and then from there it's a bit of a hike. But I like nice round numbers. So seeing it say 2.3 instead of like 2.78 or something is always good. So subscribe to the channel. Check the memberships too if you want to learn how you can get more involved in the channel, including something we're going to go over a little bit later on today in a little mini scout report, because the memberships do offer you the chance to get involved in scout reports. Go check out GoGoalShop. There's a link in the description. You get $5 off when you register using that code. Get yourself tracksuit, get your shirts, get yourself older United shirt. I've got one in here from the 80s that I got from GoGoalShop. You guys have seen me wear that. It's awesome. And then right now, because I love you guys so much, because I'm so appreciative of all your involvement, and because I'm just so excited and thrilled to see how the community has grown, it is 20% off in the UVE store right now for the next few days. Only act now. Not only do you get 20% off, you might even get something in time for the final, such as this little number. This is United versus Everybody classic logo. You see it's got the little tridents here on either side, but this is just an example. You guys have seen me rock a lot of these. I know some of you have picked up some swag already. Hope you guys enjoy that, but it is 20% off for the next few days. So the link is pinned to the top of the chat. The link is always in the video description, but 20% off, very good deal. Go check it out. So let's dive right in, you guys, to a little bit of the fun stuff to start, because just when you thought that Arsenal fans couldn't get any worse, couldn't get any just weird. We had, turns out one gooner went full Mission Impossible, full Boondock Saints, crept through the air vents over at Arsenal to catch a sneak peek of Arsenal's kit for next season. Apparently there was a photo shoot featuring William Saliba, it looks like. And this person took a photo. I'll put it up on the screen. I don't know what is going on here. These people are strange. They're different, Arsenal fans. They're just built different, and not in a good way. But I don't know what's going on here. But this is coming from AFC Extra on Twitter, but who posted this photo. But somebody decided to see so badly. They wanted to know so badly what Arsenal's kit was going to look like. I'm not even an Arsenal fan. I have not, like, even before you saw any photos, I mean, you could probably guess what their kit's going to look like, right? Red body, white sleeves, maybe red stripes. It's not that difficult. It's like trying to anticipate what Ajax kits are going to look like, or what like Inter Milan we know what they're going to look like. It's not that far-fetched. Juve, I wonder, black and white stripes. It's not hard. So I don't know what the big deal was, but I just thought that was funny, not in a great way. But anyway, Arsenal have officially released the kits this morning, so it doesn't really matter. All they had to do was wait another 12 hours and they would have seen them, but it is what it is. Moving on to some transfer news. This one concerns a center back that a lot of United fans wanted to see at Old Trafford. I like this guy a lot. This is Bournemouth's Dean Huyson. But now it looks like he is set to join Real Madrid. This is coming from both Fabrizio Romano. It's coming from David Ornstein as well. Reportedly, Bournemouth have approved Real Madrid's conditions for that deal with the £50 million release clause to be paid by the end of 2026. So you're seeing a lot these days with structuring of these release clauses. We talked a little bit about this the other day with the Cunha thing. People, like, I wondered for a second, like, if this report claims that we're paying the release clause, but then there's add-ons. Why would there be add-ons if you pay the release clause? Well, if the club is willing to let you structure the release clause, because typically you're supposed to pay that up front, but they allow you to structure it now, that may be where the add-ons are included. So, but this sounds like that Real Madrid are ready to trigger that release clause. The final green light's needed to seal the deal. Sounds like, according to Romano, that Housen always wanted Real Madrid. I know we all like Housen. He's having an excellent season at Bournemouth. But let's be honest, it was not likely ever going to happen. It doesn't really seem like we're going to be looking at defenders this summer, center backs. Now, I know that's not going to be ideal for a lot of us. I think with Lisandro Martinez's injury, we got Lindelof leaving, Evans potentially leaving, so we could be losing two, could be without a third going into probably the early fall. Leaves us very light in that department in a system that plays three center backs. I think a lot of us would have liked to have seen at least one first team ready center back come in, good on the ball, athletic, shows initiative. I think it wouldn't have taken much. We've spoken a lot. We've been linked to Jonathan Tah. He's probably going to Bayern Munich, which makes sense, really. It looks like Eric Dyer is leaving Bayern Munich, so they're going to have a hole in their defense. Madrid obviously need defenders. They've needed defenders arguably for well over a year. They've got injury-prone players. They've got players that are older. Carvajal is pretty much, I don't even know if he's back fit, and if he is back, like, past fit from medical purposes, is he going to be match fit anytime soon? So we'll see what happens, but it does sound like Dean Housen on his way to Real Madrid. They've paid the release clause, structured that to be paid by the end of 2026. That was Housen's only move. And you got to think, Madrid are trying to act quickly. Obviously, like I said, they need defenders. But after missing out on Lenny Euro last summer, Madrid probably did not want to miss out on anyone else this summer. So I still hope that United do sign a defender. I don't think it would take a lot. You guys know I love Olivier Bachali. You can even look at younger ones like Valentin Gomez at Vélez is a very, very good young left-sided center back, things like that. So there are options. But so sorry to bust anyone's bubble if they're looking for Dean Housen, but it sounds like he is on his way to Real Madrid. Oh, big up, Danny. Good to see you this morning, pal. Hope you're doing well. Hope it's not as crazy hot for you as it is. It's going to be like 80-something today for me. It's really, really humid. I was going to do the lawn later. I got that PFA class in a couple hours, though, so I don't know if I'm going to have time, but maybe tomorrow for the lawn. But big up, man. And Danny got his shirt yesterday. Big up, dude. Yeah, feel free to send me a photo, or if you don't mind, I'd love to see everybody enjoying those. It is 20% off, by the way, on the UVE store for the next few days. Act now. Not only do you get the discount, you could get your shirt in time for the final, but you might have to act quickly. But you can get shirts like this one. Danny, I don't remember which one you got, but I'm glad that it arrived. Hopefully it fits. Hopefully it looks good. I don't have anything to do with the printing or anything. I just choose, I make the designs, and then I choose which products I want them to go on. But big up, Rob. Good to see you too, man. Hope you're doing well. Danny says, lashing rain here off work today. Yikes. Yeah, it's been raining here. It's supposed to be thunderstorming today. I got to go just tighten up my boat cover and make sure that's not loose in any area so I don't get any water. I mean, it's a boat. It's supposed to get wet, but it's always nice to keep it as dry until I want it to get wet. So we'll see how that goes. I'm probably not going to get to mow the lawn then tomorrow if it's going to rain today, but it is what it is. How you know you're getting old. People ask me how old I am, and I say, I am the age where things like mowing the lawn that I don't want to do, I get mad when the weather doesn't let me do them, because that just means it's going to be worse than when it comes time to do it. That's my age. I'm right in that little sweet spot. So It's his. Danny got the charcoal gray with the green and gold. Oh, good deal. Yeah, the green and gold. Yeah, I ordered one of those as well. That one's in my dresser. Opted for this one today. So the green and gold basically looks like this one, except it's split down the middle. Of the letters are one side yellow, one side's green. So that one's pretty sick. But you'll see, you can look at them all. Look at the link in the pinned chat. You'll see. It'll take you right to the store, and you can see all sorts of fun designs. Rob says it's boiling hot here in Cardiff. Man, yeah, we're getting a little bit of a heat wave going on right now. It's supposed to cool off a little bit next week, so hopefully in time for that final. But interesting stuff. But yeah, sorry everyone who wanted Dean Howson. He is on his way to Real Madrid. I still think we need to get a defender, maybe even a young one who's playing first team football someplace wouldn't go amiss. Like I said, Valentin Gomez would be a good option. There's a lot of options out there, so we'll see how it goes. But we got reports today that Inter Milan are interested in a deal for one of our attackers at United. Now, it's not Højlund. It's not Marcus Rashford. According to Corriere dello Sport, Inter Milan want to bring Joshua Zirkzee back to Serie A. Now, the idea here, according to Corriere dello Sport, is that they want to propose a loan with an option to buy that could perhaps become an obligation if certain terms are met. Interesting stuff, despite being at United already for less than a season. I mean, it's not the first time Zirkzee's been linked with a move away. Definitely not the first time he's been linked to a return to Serie A. Napoli have been linked to him. Juventus have been linked to him. AC Milan obviously were heavily linked in the summer before he came to United. It's interesting stuff. I mean, obviously, I don't think Joshua Zirkzee is the guy who's going to be a difference maker in titles or cup competitions. He has definitely improved this season after a rocky start. It was difficult to see just where he fit. Even more difficult to think, like, when we signed him, it was a Ten Hag signing. Where would he fit in Ten Hag's system? Like he said himself, Joshua Zirkzee, not a 10, not a 9. He's like a 9.5, which is why I designed the 9.5 shirt available in the UVE store right now, 20% off. But it's interesting because if we got someone like Cunha, for instance, who we're heavily linked to, all the talk is that we're going to be signing Cunha. Like that's tough competition for Zirkzee in the position that he plays in Amorim's system, which is one of those kind of 10/wing roles. So it's healthy to have competition. It's healthy to have quality and depth. I think Zirkzee does have some qualities that a lot of the other players in this side don't, i.e. close control, like ball retention, and ball progression when he's on the ball. He doesn't strike me as someone who's going to score you bags of goals. I'd be hard pressed to bet that he'd get 10, 12 goals a season. But he does, provide a service in the side. Is that good enough? So the question is, would you keep him if someone like Inter came in and wanted him? Maybe sell Højlund. A lot of people are saying Højlund needs to go. Maybe sell Højlund and keep Zirkzee as the option for the 9. Keep Zirkzee. I don't know. Maybe it's Delap. Maybe it's Osimhen and Zirkzee stays. I don't know. It's anyone's guess what's going on this summer. Like I said, the reports coming out this morning say that we're looking at like 4 or 5 positions, not really looking at center backs, looking at strike, looking at central midfielder, looking at playmaker, someone in like maybe one of those 10 roles. We probably do need maybe a young right wing back. I think that's going to depend on whether or not Dallo stays. But it's interesting stuff, man. Danny says, no, piss off Inter, not taking us to the cleaners. You want him 40 million euro with add-ons on. It's kind of like the Antony situation with Real Betis, right? Just pay it or you're going to miss out, basically. Rob says, do any players ever get moved on after just one season? I mean, Di Maria got moved on after one season. I think, wasn't Memphis only here like 2 years? Who else? I feel like there's more that we're only here for a season. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, though I cannot for the life of me off the top of my head think of players. But good little quiz question. How many players were here for just one season at United? Loans do not count, but interesting. Maybe trying to think, maybe Ronaldo, does that count? He was here for 21, 22 and then left like he never really showed up after preseason, right? So maybe you can count Ronaldo, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, Zirkzee, Inter Milan, that is the link coming out today from Corriere dello Sport. Another player who we sold not that long ago, but it's popping up back in the news. We talked about this a little bit the other day, but you remember how United inserted all those sell-on clauses when we sold all those youngsters in recent years, like guys like Iqbal, Chong, and Tenen Mengi, Kambwala, all these guys, sell-on clauses after sell-on clause after sell-on clause. I'm not going to go on Alvaro. We already talked about Alvaro, but another one of those players in Maxi Oyedele could be sold this summer and would allow United to cash in a bit this summer. Now, it's not like we're going to get a ton of money. So Oyedele he left in the summer. He went to Polish side Legia Warsaw, but he's already performing well. He's already getting a lot of interest. A lot of clubs in Europe looking to buy him this summer. Shakhtar Donetsk reportedly were turned down. I'd probably avoid going to the Ukrainian league if I were him, but if and when Oyedele leaves Warsaw, which looks very likely, United will get 40% of that fee from the sell-on clause that we inserted into that deal. He does have a €6 million release clause, so again, it's probably not going to be too much of a sell-on, but it is something. It is a couple million. A couple million probably could have paid for the staff to go to the final, but it is what it is. But then he says, "Yeah, I thought he's better than Collier." Yeah, he looked. I remember. Didn't we see him in like preseason? Was that not this past summer? The summer before, wasn't he in preseason? And then I just never. He had some good moments in one of those matches I remember, and then that was it. I think he went on loan briefly, and then obviously went to Legia Warsaw. But doing well in Poland, seems to have found his feet there, and that's just what you need sometimes with these young. We have a lot of young players who are kind of on that cusp, right, between being too good for the academy, but not quite good enough for first team Premier League football. They need to go out on loan, but you run the risk. If they're not good enough for United, do we need them right now? Can we afford to wait? They want to play. Maybe they don't want to come back to United. There's always run the risk, but I do think if you're throwing these sell-on clauses, if maybe you're throwing in some of these buyback clauses, could be a smart bit of business, such as like Alvaro, for instance. We do have a buyback. We do have a sell-on. There's that whole issue right now. Madrid want him. Benfica want 50 million. Madrid reportedly want us to use the buyback clause so they can get him for cheaper. I'm in the camp of, we don't owe you any favors, Real Madrid. Give us Arda Güler on loan with an option to buy and we'll help you out. But other than that, I got no time for you, Madrid. Maybe Camavinga. Maybe. He hasn't looked great, Camavinga, but I think that has more to do with the fact that he's been shuffled around so much in that side left back for the longest time. But I would take Camavinga or Güler. Wouldn't be my first choice, Camavinga, but if you can get someone like that and help out Madrid, I mean, it is what it is. But anyway, like I said, could be set to cash in a little bit on Maxi Oyedele if he does end up leaving. So 40% sell-on clause, not a bad bit of business. We have something like that, I think, in Mason Greenwood's contract too, right? It looks like he might be ready to leave Marseille this summer. There are some reports I've seen with him and like Luis Enrique, the right midfielder, who are maybe have some attitude issues. I don't know. Like I said, these are just reports. So we'll see what happens there. But we could be making money without even have to do anything. So moving on, because it's been a minute. I know I did the big video last week, but or 2 weeks ago, but I still like to do scouting reports. The first long before the channel, long before Stretty News, it was just scouting reports that I did. I had my own website that I was doing. I post them all over the place. You guys know I love scouting reports. I like just looking around Europe and seeing who's out there. But I have another one for you today. So Danny boy, you're probably going to be interested in this guy. So say hello to Mayer Carrizo. Young attacker, plays for Vélez. So there's a lot of good players at Vélez, by the way, right now. Carrizo, Ordóñez, we did that scouting report on him recently. Valentin Gomez, you guys have heard me mention him a couple times. They have a lot of really good young players right now, but this guy is excellent player, plays right wing for them, has also played kind of in that striker role, similar to like Amora and what he's been doing in Germany this year. Kind of a striker, can play in a front too, but also plays a lot on the wing. Just 19 years old, very, very quick, very strong, very powerful. You think he's like 5'11", just shy of 6 foot. He's really got the build, I think, for a lot of leagues. Very good mentality, fighter. It just doesn't give up, doesn't quit. Very versatile, as you can see, he can play a couple different positions. I've seen him play in like an almost like a 10-second striker role sometimes. Very, very good on the ball. And then being Argentinian, he does have a little bit of that flair. I've seen him nutmeg people. I've seen a little drop of the shoulder. The way he can do that does look, it does the best I could compare it to is like when I used to watch Anthony at Ajax. Now I know people are going to hear that and freak out, but that's just what it reminded me of. But doing very, very well this season, having an excellent breakout season, 7 goals, 1 assist in all comps in just 15 matches, which is excellent. That's literally a goal involvement every other match right now. 4th in the Copa Libertadores right now when it comes to goals. I think he's 4th for goals and assists combined, 3rd for dribbles for 90. So he's excellent on the ball, excellent ball progression. Look at his like take-ons. He's in the top 8% for take-ons right now. Gets into really good advanced positions, top 25% for passes received in the progressive areas. And off the ball, like I said, that's where that fight and that mentality, top 40% for attacking mids and wingers when it comes to tackles, top 25% for blocks, and top 25% for aerials one. The guy is a physical beast. I think he can hang in English football. So he was a striker. He's kind of, because just needs must in that squad, he's kind of been asked to fill in that right wing role. He gets a little bit of freedom, but if you look at his heat map, it's a lot of the wing. This season in the Copa Libertadores, you'll see a lot of touches inside the box as well, kind of like how Ahmad operates a bit. But he's done very well. He's very versatile. He hugs the right wing, but again, he's left-footed. He'll cut inside, get shots off, create from his left foot. Really suits, I think, what Amorim likes from these players in that kind of 10 role or like that wingback role, having that opposite foot. Ricardo Diaz has jumped on a couple times, big sporting fan, has also reminded us, yes, Amorim does like that from his right wingback / right mids, the ability to cut in onto your left from that right side and whatnot. And this guy can do that excellent. It's been linked with Bologna, along with a couple of his teammates. I think both Ordonez and Valentin Gomez have also been linked to Bologna. I think he would be an excellent option at United, a cheaper option than Mastantuono, I think. Maybe backup for Ahmad on that right wing, maybe someone to rotate in that number 10 role. Maybe, I don't know. We have Biancheri as well in the academy. I think could probably do that role as well. But I like what I see from this guy. So you guys let me know your thoughts on him. I know Danny's probably interested. I know coming from Velez. Let me see what you're saying here. Sanjay, big up, Sanjay. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Danny says he's in my notebook. Yeah, man, since you've been popping on the channel more and more several months ago, man, I've been keeping an eye out more and more on some of these South American players. It's harder to get a lot of stats and whatnot because I don't get to watch them a lot, but there are some excellent players. And like I've been saying it for years, and we've seen it, that the South American market is blowing up. Look at Julian Alvarez. Look at Mastantuono. Who's the kid that forget his name now. It'll come to me later on. Sanjay says still an hour to go at work, but working from home. Well, big up, man. Big up. Danny says I think he was at U20 South American Cup. Yeah, he's one of the better players in that league. One of the better players at Velez right now. Really being asked to step out of his comfort zone, because like I said, he started as a striker when he was in that youth side. So Sanjay's going to Poland later. Interesting stuff, man. Go talk to Maxi Oyedele, see where he's going, because we do get 40% off, 40% sell-on clause from him. Then he says he and Valentin in a double deal, probably 2025. Valentin is so good. Just a good modern defender, left-footed, quick, powerful. I love Valentin Gomez a lot. But yeah, Sanjay, have a safe trip, man, wherever you end up going. Rob says 85 potential on SoFIFA. That is pretty much the deciding factor on if someone is going to be good or not. Danny says him or Subiabre probably best after Franco. Yeah, there's a lot of these kind of attacking players out there, South American. And I think that we would do well to take a look. Now, like I said earlier, the reports are that we are maybe not prioritizing defense, maybe looking more at striker, midfield, and then someone in a playmaking role, and strengthening there. We do have a lot of players that are going to be leaving right now. We do have a lot of strengthening to do, already weak in those areas, but wouldn't be amiss. I would like to see some first team ready players, some quality players like your Churques and whatnot, but I'd also would not mind one or two young players like Franco, Roger Fernandez maybe, or promoting someone like Camason, or maybe someone like, Carrizo or Nippon or somebody young to come in, rotate for a year or so, and then maybe see what that looks like. But good little scouting report today. Did have fun looking up this kid. So keep an eye out. Meyer Carrizo, Vela Sarsfield. Let's dive into this match preview. It's not going to be much of a match preview because I don't really honestly I could not care less about the league right now. Again, I said at the start of the video, it's not because I've written off the league, like what Amorim said he hopes isn't happening. It's because I'm focused more on the Europa League final right now, and I don't want to get any more Lenny Yoro injury situations. I just want to keep everyone safe for the final, put out the strongest side we can in the final. I don't want anybody getting any injuries. So that's where I'm at. But we got Chelsea tomorrow afternoon, 3:15 kickoff on a Friday, which is very, very strange. Chelsea are in 5th right now. They're not guaranteed European football next season quite yet. They are currently in a Champions League spot, but any more slip-ups like they had recently against Newcastle could see Forest or even Villa leapfrog right over them, leaving the Conference League, winning the Conference League against Real Betis. That could mean that that's Chelsea's only hope to get European football. Doing surprisingly well. I mean, we haven't heard a lot from Chelsea. There's been some ups and downs, some struggles here and there, but they, like I said, they are in 5th right now. But it's their 11 starters that are basically keeping them in that because they don't really have depth between injuries, suspensions. It's their starting 11 that is really doing the job right now. And so they're really strong. They've just got a strong starting 11. I don't really need to talk about our league form because if we had any league form to talk about, we're just shit, like really, really shit. We're literally going 7 league games in a row without a win. That's where we are right now. And our players, who are literally physically and even mentally the weakest in the league in so many ways, are facing a very just pumped physical Chelsea side. You got guys like Enzo, guys like Caicedo. Cucurella is always just up and down that flank. It's a bonus for us that they're not going to have Nicholas Jackson. Now, he did pick up a red after a VAR check the other day against Newcastle. I think he just straight up elbowed Botman, I think it was, in the face. It was initially a yellow, went to VAR, and then he got that restriction. It was a red right away. The guy, Nicholas Jackson, they were going for it was a 50-50 aerial ball. He does not even look at the ball. He's looking only at Botman, leans with his elbow, catches him in the face, and then that's a red all day. He had no intention of going for that ball. So they'll be without a striker. Off the top of my head, I can't think of who else they have as a striker. They might. So what you might see is maybe Cole Palmer filling in as a false 9-ish area. I don't know, but we're going to see what they end up doing. Chelsea are not playing great on paper. Now, they're 5th in the league, but they're not playing well. I mean, but somehow they've been finding a way to win. Really, really fucking frustrating, if I'm honest. A lot of this probably has to do with the fact that Maresca likes his teams to have possession, and so keep the ball, you give yourself some chances. They have a lot of speed, a lot of technicality in their front line. That can really cause this problem. We know Cole Palmer loves to buzz around. They've got guys like Madueke on the wings who can do a lot of damage. Pedro is going to be just flying up and down as well. We'll need to keep an eye on those overlapping fullbacks. I don't know if Reece James is going to be fit, but like I said, Cucurella can cause problems, and he is quick enough to get back and help out. But that's probably our best chance because they do throw those fullbacks high up the pitch a lot, which, again, like some of the other sides we've played, can leave them exposed at the back. Like when we played City, like when we played against Newcastle. If you remember against Newcastle, what did I say going into that? Expose that space that they leave in behind. The goal we got and the couple chances that we created against Newcastle were because we took advantage of that. We put the ball wide, we got it forward, we found our runners, hit them on the counter. That's what you have to do. Now, again, I don't want to risk a lot of our star players. I'm just saying that's how you're going to do something against this Chelsea side. What we need to do is soak up the pressure, keep an eye on a lot of that movement. Guys like Palmer and whatnot are going to be moving around quite a bit in that final third. We need to just try to soak up the pressure, win that ball, and get it into the space that they're going to leave behind. Start Cheeto, just let him get on the end of it, hold it up. Maybe he can have a runner in and around him. But it's a plus for us, like I said, that Jackson's out. Cole Palmer seems to be struggling a bit, but you can bet that they'll still find a way to bend us over and we'll probably drop points, which honestly I don't care because you'll see when my starting 11 pops out. But Sancho, I don't think can play, and Nkunku, I think he's injured. I don't remember if he's injured or not. I feel like I couldn't remember if it was Nkunku or Madueke who was injured, but either way, one of those guys I think is going to miss this one. Honestly, this season can't end soon enough for me. I want to start the kids tomorrow, play some of the main guys maybe for like 20 minutes or so, like is in terms of like, especially if we're up, get the big guys on, let them maintain possession, hold on to the ball, and just cycle it around, make it boring. I could not care less. Maresca will probably do much of this because they've got their final against Real Betis coming up, and so the problem is they don't have as much depth. So maybe we can score a goal. I'd love to see Cheeto get a goal. Amorim has said he's going to try to win this one. He's already said he's got his starting 11 in mind, and how his starting 11 tomorrow will play could affect his team selection for Wednesday's final. We'll see what happens. But if we lose another key player to injury, I'm going to lose my shit. Like, I'm just going to lose my shit. I don't want to see anywhere near 90 minutes for any key player. I don't want to see anywhere near 60 minutes for any key player for that, man. How long some of these guys played against Brentford got on my nerves, because every minute that ticked by, I just was expecting an injury. Brentford almost felt like a mid-season international friendly in some ways, because I'm just, the whole time I'm like half watching it because I don't want to watch anybody pick up an injury, and Euro's injury just had me fuming. There's just no need to risk it. They're professional footballers. They're fit. They're fine. We can't complain one day about 3 matches a week and then complain the next day that they didn't play midweek. I don't care. They're fine. Cheeto, Amos, Fredrickson, Sekou Kone, Kukonki, Montato, Camison, start Johnny Evans, start Eriksson, start all these guys. Hell, play Tom Heaton as a 10 for fuck's sake. I don't care. I don't want to see any of the big guys on the pitch. What are you guys saying? Rob says, Maresca confirmed Nkunku is not available, but Reece James will be fit after missing some training sessions. All right, yeah, I couldn't remember if it was Nkunku or Madueke, but big up, Rob. Danny's got it. Yeah, I think I have him on the list too, Montour. I think you mentioned him a while back. Velez, I mean, if we could find a way to work with Velez to become like our sister club, kind of like Chelsea with Vitesse and whatnot, that would be awesome. I would love to have like a pipeline straight from Velez Sarsfield into maybe even like Lille or something, that we can kind of filter out some of these, and filter out some of these good players. But you guys let me know who you would want to play. Who are you wrapping in cotton wool? Who maybe needs to get a couple minutes just to make sure they're up to fitness? And who would you not even bring if you had the choice? I saw Euro not training with the team, but he was in the gym doing some training. Collier is back in full training. But Collier, I mean, I might go ahead and play Collier just because he's definitely not match fit. He's been out for a while. So put him on the bench, bring him on for a little bit. Collier loves to just get involved, find a way to win that ball. Amorim said, these players, they can't go a week really without playing. So maybe try to remember who didn't start against Brentford, and those players are probably going to get more minutes too. He took off Shaw right when Euro got injured as well, because Shaw is one of those players who's kind of in that red zone they didn't want to risk. So I would not risk anybody. Shaw probably is going to play a role if Euro is not fit enough for this final. What that role is, I don't know. Probably left center back. Probably going to see Dorgu. I doubt Dalot is going to be back. So it's going to be an interesting final. I wouldn't be surprised to see Maguire in the central role, Shaw on the left-hand side, and Lindelof on that right-hand side, with maybe Mazraoui taking up a left wing back or something. But it depends on where Ahmad's going to play. I could easily see Garnacho and Mount starting in the 10s, Ahmad on the right, Mazraoui in that right center back role as well. There's a lot you could do. We're going to talk about that one more on Monday when we do the big preview for the final, though. So, then it says 100 pounds. I said a lot of stuff. So, days I do get triple deal done for those kids, dude. You could get probably those guys for like 40, 45 million altogether tops for those 3 players. And you'd have excellent rotation options. I wouldn't even mind selling Collier at that point, because Ordonez is excellent. Carrizo is excellent. Valentin Gomez excellent as well. Like, you get a lot. So Rob says, no more Bahindir, rest Mizraoui and Ugarte. I'd be wrapping a lot of these guys in cotton wool. That's just, you guys know that's how I roll though. Like if this is, because there are all these ex players like Scholesy and whatnot keep going on and on. Like I don't understand. I don't know if they're just. I love Scholesy is a legend. He's one of our best players ever. He was world class, but some of his takes as a pundit are just like, dude, just add a little bit of reality, a little bit of context to what you're saying before you say it. Because no, this isn't the first month of the season when we've got a couple of Europa League phase matches. This is literally, we've got a Europa League final. Season's done. We're dropping like flies injuries. We can't afford to put out strong sides midweek when we've got finals. We just can't. These players are already being run into the ground. We've already seen players pull up an injury literally every week. It's like we get a new injury. Just read the room, dude. Like we can't do that. We do have to prioritize at some point. We don't have this. Even if everyone was fit, we don't have the quality and depth in the squad to just go hard in every competition at the same time. We just don't. That'll take a couple summers for us to get that squad to that point. Remember City when they won the treble? Their literal bench was not only like 10 times more expensive than most starting 11s of who they played, but like their bench was quality. It was just quality. Like we don't have that. We haven't had that in years. And so I need guys like Neville and Scholes just try to remember that. Like it's just add a little bit of context. What do I always say? Context is key. And some of these people just zero context whatsoever. Danny wants to give Kone his debut. I would definitely Kone's been training with the first team. He's been heavily involved. Like I would fully like he's just gonna harangue Chelsea's midfield. The dude just wants to be on the ball. Like he's not like a defensive midfielder. He just wants to be on the ball. He wants to just get that ball to win it. He wants to have it at his feet. He wants to drive it up the pitch. Like I like Kone a lot. I think that he can be like a little mosquito for Chelsea's midfield and just never give them a moment's peace. And I would like that. I like that precociousness. I like that energy. I like that just no fear. We've seen that from Garnacho in the last couple of years, just because he's young. He's got that energy. He's got that confidence to back himself, that no fear. I'd like to see some of that from some of these youngsters. That's what you get. Rob says, play the youngster that just signed a pro deal, Montato. Yeah, I would play Comison. I'd play Montato. I'd play literally everybody. Bring Biancheri in. Let him freaking just basically. I want this to look like a U21s match for all intents and purposes. I don't care. Remember, if you guys remember going into these last 5 matches in the league, I predicted like maybe 2 points out of some of these, out of a possible 15. Probably 3 out of the last 27. Really, I think we're sitting on potentially 3 points out of our last 27 possible points. So, but that's where we are. We're shit. We know that we're shit. We don't need to try to sugarcoat it. We don't need to try to sit here and rage about it. It is what it is. We're past that stage of grief now. We're just going to accept it. Oddly enough, though, going into this was one of the fixtures that I thought we would draw. I didn't think we would beat Brentford. I didn't think we'd beat Villa. I thought maybe we would get a win perhaps, or at least a draw against West Ham. Obviously, that didn't happen. I did think Chelsea could be one, but that was before we started picking up injuries and before we were in the final. So now my priorities have shifted. But I want to know what you think the score is going to look like for this one. I'm actually going to call this 1-1, 1-1 draw. I had 0-0, but I do think that maybe we'll get at least a goal. But I have this at 1-1. But let me know what your score predictions are for this one. Do you care? Have you even thought that far ahead about it? 1-1 was literally, that's me reaching in terms of just having a like an investment, emotional, mental investment in this match. Just wait till the Villa one. Oddly enough, I'm like, that one to me is a little more important because it's after the final. We don't have to worry about that anymore. It's preseason, like the following, like literally 3 or 4 days later. And it's the last home game. Like that one, I'm like, all right. We'll probably I bet we'll see some sort of breaking news after the final, probably a signing announcement or something. I don't know, but we're going to talk about the final because whether or not we win or lose that one could, I think, also have implications on some players staying or leaving, maybe someone like Bruno or whatnot. So we're going to talk about that more on Monday, though. But I've got this at 1-1 draw. Let me know what you guys think. We've got a couple other big matches coming up, so. The women's team, they play Sunday. They play Chelsea, oddly enough, in their FA Cup final. Now, that's 3 FA Cup finals in a row for the women's team. That's an impressive feat. Now, I know Mark Skinner gets a lot of shit. We've lost a lot of big players. But to do all that and to come back is like, that's like like a team like Brighton, who constantly get picked apart, like going to 3 finals in a row. Like, you're losing all your best players. You've got to rebuild every single year, and you still made 3 finals. Like, that's impressive. Like, and the women's team are doing impressive. Now we'll see if Jade is fit. I don't know if she will be. Fallon's having an excellent season. Obviously, she's joint Golden Glove winner for the WSL. We've got a lot of good players coming into good form right now. Ella Toon has scored a goal the other day. Galton's doing very, very well. Clinton doing very well. We have a lot of really good. Letitia, obviously, Maya's doing excellent. So, but that kicks off 8 a.m. on Sunday if anyone wants to watch that and support the women's side. We have the general FA Cup final on Saturday. Obviously, United aren't involved, but that's Crystal Palace versus Man City. I would love a Palace win. I would love Palace to win. To see Pep not win a damn thing this season after how much they spent in January. Has anyone even seen Vitor Rice? Is he even alive? That was another player that they literally spent $200 million in January, and one of them was, they got 2 center backs. One of them I've not even seen ever. And Pep's not shit for any of this, by the way. But I would love Palace win. Eze is in excellent form. Ateta is having a decent season. I think Palace deserve it. They're doing excellent, and I would love to see Pep lose, see him scratch the shit out of his nose at bald fraud. Rob says, Chelsea versus Manchester United is the most drawn fixture in Premier League history. The reverse fixture at Old Trafford this season. Yeah, we did get that 1-1 earlier. We do tend to kind of split the points there. A little handshake emoji there. Rob says, hard to pick a result, as I've had no idea who starts. A draw would be decent. A draw would be, depending on the side. If we put out a strong side for some reason, and I'll be fuming, but if we put out a strong side and draw, it would be a little bit of a bummer, especially if any of these players pull up with any injuries. I just don't think it's worth the risk. If you put out youngsters with a final a couple days later and you lose, nobody cares as much. Now, you'll always get these people who are like, it's bad for their confidence. If a loss on the road at Chelsea is enough to shatter your career as a young player, then you're not ready for United. That's just the way it is. Losing is part of it. Adversity is part of it. You got to work on that resilience. It's going to happen. And if they can't hang, if they're not going into this knowing, okay, that's probably a chance we're going to lose, but this is our chance to contribute to the side, help these players get a rest and impress. No one's saying go out and win 5-0, but I don't know. Not everyone's going to feel that way. And that's fine. Differences of opinion are fine. You're allowed to have opinions, unless you're talking to Liverpool fans. I don't know if you guys saw yesterday, Jamie Carragher. So it was like this overlap fan debate. So it was Gary Neville, Paul Scholes, Jamie Carragher. Obviously, they talked to a lot of Premier League content creators and whatnot. But Jamie Carragher on here just whinging about the fact that, other fans, his claim is other fans are telling us how to feel. Like, no one's telling you how to feel, dude. It's called having an opinion. Welcome to society. Read a book, dude. Grow up. Liverpool fans sometimes need to get over themselves. This whole bullshit about Trent, he should want to stay. Why would he go someplace else? He should have signed a contract so at least we get some money. Why? These guys are so full of shit. Where was the sympathy when they booted Karius out the door in that Champions League final? You guys remember that? The whole claim there was, Karius, he got a concussion. So either he had a concussion and you still booted him out the door, which that's just awful, disgraceful behavior, or he didn't, and you had a young keeper and who started a Champions League final. This guy was 21 years old at the time, and you put him out the door because he couldn't stop shots from world-class player in Gareth Bale. Liverpool fans are just absolutely shameless, man. Can't stand it. You can't talk to them about anything. And you can see that kind of mentality seeping into their players. I can't stand Andy Robinson, for instance. Virgil van Dijk has got to be one of the biggest cowards I've ever seen in football. People who call him one of the best English or Premier League center backs is obviously these people are 20 years old and they've only been watching football for the last 5 years, because the dude's not even in the top 10 at all. He's not even the best Dutch center back we've ever seen in the Premier League yet. The guy wears Yap Stam pajamas to bed. He's such a coward too when I'm sorry, I went off on a rant there, but I just could. Jamie Carragher said that. I'm like, dude, get over yourself. For real. For real, get over. You want to talk about cowards? Jamie Carragher, anytime Liverpool lose, anytime they would get knocked out of any cup competition, he is nowhere to be found when it comes to his duties for the overlap. But as soon as they win, he'll pop up with all this freaking bass in his voice and all this chest. He's such a coward. I can't stand the guy. Rob says, come on, Palace. How are you doing, Rob? Big up. Yeah, we're all Palace fans on the weekend. Full 90 with Kish. Big up call-in show. Now, we do that for the members. If you want to do full membership, you do have the option to call in and join in and chat for a while. That is one of the members. So check the memberships to learn how to get more involved. Full 90 says, to say Van Dijk isn't top 10 is criminal. It's definitely not. To say that he is top 10 is criminal. And watching the guy play this season alone, the last couple seasons, Van Dijk has been absolute shambles. Like Sancho turned him into a meme a couple years back, like literally turned him into a meme. He sits here and he blames his teammates on international duty for letting goals. You go back and watch these goals, and the guy is literally Virgil van Dijk. He will jockey with an attacker for a certain amount, and then they get into the box, and he's just nowhere to be found. Passes them off to someone else at the very last second, and then wants to pretend like it wasn't on him. Like the guy's an absolute coward. Like he just is. And the same Liverpool fans who are giving Trent Alexander-Arnold all this shit, where was that energy when Van Dijk refused to play for Southampton after your club tapped him up? Like you can't just have it one way or the other. This isn't Mongolian barbecue where you can pick and choose what you want to go back to the table with. That's not how this works. So there's no loyalty in football. Everyone's hypocrites. Everyone's got those rose-tinted glasses, but I can't stand Jamie Carragher sometimes because he's just a representative of the Liverpool supporter mentality in so many of the worst ways sometimes. And it does my head in. Listen to when Sky does their cull of on-air personalities, he needs to be first name on the list. He and Gary Cotterill, just get him out of there. They're absolute dog shit. Richard Hawkins, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. You're catching us right at the close, but hopefully you can go back and watch the videos. So he says he's no Alan Hansen. That's true. But yes, Palace City FA Cup final on Saturday. Man United women, Chelsea women, FA Cup final Sunday. But apparently Sean Dyche also thinks that he could have won more games than Ruben Amorim if he were United manager. If you guys watched the overlap this morning, I don't. Like, how many clubs has that guy been sacked from, and he wants to come out here and say that he would do a better job as a United manager than Ruben Amorim? I mean, with takes like that, we're talking about Sky firing people. Maybe he could go work for Sky if he's going to talk absolute bollocks like that. Maybe Talk Sport will take him on. That's right up there with some of the shit that Gabby Agbalnahor comes out with. Some of the things, how some of these people get cameras in front of them and microphones are just beyond me. But you guys get your prediction in for the starting 11. Get your prediction in for the score for tomorrow's match against Chelsea. I don't want to see any big names in that starting 11. I want to see any big names getting more than like 30 minutes of football. They don't need it right now. Wrap some of them up in cotton wool. Train them a little bit more, but like just go into the final as strong as you can. If Euro's not fit, I'm going to be super mad because it was not worth the risk. Bruno played pretty much the whole match against Brentford. Højlund as well. Like, it's not worth the risk. So hopefully we'll do that. We'll obviously come back on Monday. We're going to do that big preview for the final. Hopefully going to have some people joining me for that one. We are going to be kind of going through the whole road to the final. We're going to be looking back at some of the big moments, the league phase, quarterfinals, all that stuff. We're going to be going through tactics. We're going to be going through starting 11s. Everyone's going to have their own starting 11, and that'll be fun. It's going to be a whole big thing, so be prepared. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Danny says, I agree. He would have won more games because it would suit these useless players that can only play his way. I don't think Sean Dyche is that good of a manager personally, but the fact that you're getting sacked from all these jobs to me is just, it is what it is. Richard says, yes, we looked terrible on Sunday, although our attack was good for the first 50 minutes. Yeah, it was good. We were getting the ball in advanced positions and we were kind of keeping it there, but we were just passing it all around that box. Nobody wanted to take a chance. It looked almost as if the players were told not to overdo it. And so everybody was just a little, like, not really fully switched on. Rob says, was Dyche in charge and would beat them 4-0? Exactly, Rob. Comment of the day. So, and that's the reason he's not there anymore, because he's just not that good of a manager, Sean Dyche. But it is what it is. I had to turn on subtitles when I watched that this morning because I couldn't understand a word that the guy looks like. He literally sounds like he swallowed like a bucket of gravel whenever he speaks. It's ridiculous. Rob says, yeah, I just checked. It was Amorim's first game in charge and we battered Sean's team. It was Ipswich's first game. Ipswich was his first game, I believe. Danny says players would love Deitch, some dumb, non-technical counterattacking, low IQ football. Yeah, I mean if that's the football we wanted to play, then we should have just kept Ollie. That's and I'm not trying to be offensive to Ollie, but that was Ollie's style. Now he switched it up a little bit in Champions League. If you remember, he did switch up to like a three at the back here and there. But Ollie basically was like, yeah, we're gonna hit him on the counterattack, which it's fine, but you got to have more strings to your bow, and there's just so much more layers to management, especially at this level. So I think Ollie's struggled to work with some of the personalities at times as well. I'd like to get us back to a point where, like Real Madrid, management is a big. You're going to have to learn to manage some big egos. I'd like to have some class players in the future, but it is what it is. But in any case, you guys, like the video for me, subscribe if you are new. Remember, it is 20% off in the United vs. Everybody store for the next couple of days. You can get something like this if you want. There's tons of designs, hoodies, t-shirts, women's clothes. There's even some toddler shirts in there that I added for Justin. But 20% off, go check it out. Share the video, check the memberships. I forget who it was. They were asking about call-ins. That is an option for the memberships. You can join in and call in for a little bit on some of these shows. So just my way of trying to give back. And then, like I said, go check out the store as well. A lot of good stuff in there. So hope you guys enjoy your day. Danny said, Amorim is simply exposing the shit. I mean, the shit's been exposed for years. And that's why I didn't buy into the whole, like, he's going to need to see who's good, who's not. Like, no, we've already known. He should just have to ask some of the coaches who were there. Like, it shouldn't. If you watch us at all through the season, you'll know who the bluffers are. I'm done with this whole give, because all that, it's the same mentality. Like, we're just kicking another year. Like, I don't care anymore. The reason these players are struggling is because they just can't hang. They don't have it up here. They don't have it in here. If you have the mentality, you have the physicality, you have that energy, that fight, you can play any number of system. It doesn't matter. So it's freaking annoying. Richard says, I'm back in United for the Europa. Come on, United. That's my guy. So, Richard, come back on Monday. I'm going to have some guests here on the stream. We're going to be doing a big old thing, probably Monday afternoon. But until then, you guys, enjoy your Thursday. I will see you guys depending on this match. I mean, do we need to bother with a reaction? It's a dead rubber, but maybe we'll see how it goes. But until then, enjoy your Thursday. Hopefully that, it's nice weather because it's going to thunderstorm like crazy here. But till then, you guys, take it easy. I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks.